a squawking swift, peacock, and horse. Any sprouting seed, things to perpetuate Ayesha given life, that which Waiha's light shines on, life of this kingdom, things of this air, of this mark, sign, covenant, strong indicators and identification of people, place and thing, of this kingdom of life that Yah shines light on, also like give, put, set, also as this, hand of this arm, handiwork of that thrust, that deed, and that he made to physically observe, look at, that revealed breath, breath of life, life of mankind, in man, of this house, and this family. Inside this tent floor plan, also like give, provide, ascribe, as if, and like this, anointed tent peg, hooked to secure, nailed to fix, join things, and any sprouting seed, things to perpetuate Yasha given life, that which Yasha's light shines on, also like can get given, and like, as of this, hand of this arm, handiwork of that, thrust, that deed, made to physically observe, look at that, revealed breath, breath of life, life of mankind, in man, of this house and this family, inside this tent floor plan, also, like can get ascribed, from this chief, and ox to oxen, strength, leaders of this mark, sign, covenant, strong indicator, signature, and identification of people, place, and thing of this revealed breath, life, breath in man, also like you, through, by this mighty, lifted up sea, through, and by this tent door and pathway, lowered, for movement, look and behold this, revealed breath of life in man, also like measure, measurement, stature, containment, storing, surrounding of a blowing, of, by this, anointed tent peg, hook to secure, to connect, fix, join things with and to this family, family house, tent floor plan, inside, also like good, pleasant, agreeable, from this, chief, and ox, strength, from frontward, presses, splits from this sun on this horizon, sun, as in a line from this condensation, father, also like presses, overflows, from this head and person from this beginning, top man, topmost rule, first possession, and inheritance, cover, experience, watch this, coming from frontward, pressed and divided, also like to shake of this head and person, top man, topmost rule, first possession, and inheritance. This family house, inside this tent floor plan, also like chief, captain. You, if, when split from fully facing frontward in, within this family house, tent floor plan, mark, sign, and covenant, identification of people, place, thing, fully tame, curved toward this palm of hand, also like if, to sit, dwell, remain. If not fully in this family house, tent floor plan, mark, signed covenant, identification of people, place, thing, in this strength, anointed tent peg, connected to this hook to secure, fix, and to join things to this palm of hand, to tame, and allow, also like within midst of, among, those waters, not this massive, mighty, lifted up sea unknown, of and with this head and a person, top man, topmost rule, first possession, and inheritance, this lifted up sea to lift up from those waters, this revealed breath, breath of life, life revealed in man, also like deceit, deception, treachery, fraud, and if not in this family house, tent floor plan, in and of this head and person from this beginning, top man, topmost rule, first possession and inheritance, not those waters, chaos, blemish, life, breath, breath of life, and it revealed in man, also like deception, guile, if in this case, if not in, with this mighty, massive, lifted up sea, blood of this ox, chief, strength, leader, power, heir of this you-given kingdom of life, that which Yeshu's light shines on, and offspring, sons, through and by way of this anointed nail, tent peg, hook to secure, fix and join things, also like if to reject, if ever to refuse. Mana, this means a unit of measurement, sure. This means as indeed, surety, truth. This, and of this arm, and this hand thrust, deed, made to physically observe, this hanging pathway, hung low door for entry, mark, sign of this covenant, indicator, and then, thus signature of identification of people, place, thing, also like to perceive, understand, this chief and ox, this anointed tent peg, hook to secure, and two, with join to fix, and as an indicator of this covenant, this mark, sign, and identification of people, place, thing of this arm, and hand, handiwork, and in handiwork in this deed, to physically observe, also like mark of the accusative, sibi ipsi, ihu, given, that of life, that which Yahuwah's light shines light on, this heir, seed, perpetuation and continuation, kingdom, power of this chief, ox, lifted up, and of this lifted up mighty massive sea, blood, unknown and lifted up from chaos, those waters, also like utters, uttered, declared, this arm, and hand, thrust, deed to physically observe, look at this revealed man, this breath of life in man, there, in existence, that of life in man, there, in existence, that anointed tent peg, hook to secure, connect, and fix things, mankind to this breath, breath of life, life, also like Wahya, Lord, one that brings into existence, life-giver, giver of existence, he who brings to pass, performer of his promises, he who causes to fall, this one, absolute and unchangeable one, this, existing, ever-living, self-consistent. And when only cut, sickled, harvested, as food of, and for this crown, made ready for, and by, life, by breath and life revealed, also like this, here, he, itself, one, only with this head, and, person, first man, since and from this beginning, topmost rule, first possession, and inheritance, this chief, and ox, and to this chief and ox, facing, frontward, not consumed, consuming, split, connected to this anointed tent peg, this hook to secure, to fix, and add to this given kingdom of life, that which Yeshu shines light on, to this heir as sons, also like first, having and by this arm, and hand, handiwork by this thrust, hand deed, made to physically observe, hung down, and lowered for entry, moved this tent door, this ox, strength, from and to, this chief, power, also like perceive, understand, certified, taught, any, if not in this family house, inside this tent floor plan, hooked and added to, and by this anointed tent peg, hooked to secure, and two so with joined, two and fixed, to fix to this chief, strength and power, and ox, in and through this ox, also like to come, enter, this chief and ox, authority, protect, lead, teach, and bind, also like toward, into, if when you one has an eye to see, you can watch, heeding, and you understand this cover, this staff, and goal, authority, and control toward authority, to protect, protecting, to bind, binding, and to lead, teach, also like upon, above, concerning, at this point, when this chief and ox inside this tent wall do dividing, this head and person, first man from this beginning, this topmost rule, first possession, and inheritance of and from, this arm too, and by this hand, thrust, and deed, to physically observe and to have signed this covenant, and in this mark, strength, identification of people, place, thing, also like ladder, following, pursuing, remnant, side, on of his side, where, at which point, this sun on this horizon, father and day encompass, and gathering, drawing a line of those, that man on his side, desiring on this trail, also like end, conclusion, extremity, limit, by, and of this arm and this hand, thrust, deed, anointed tent peg, hook to secure, to join things and secure, connect, fixing from chaos to this massive, mighty, lifted up sea, and blood, also like day, of this chief and this ox, leader, strength, power, and goal, binding, to bind to authority, lead, control one toward authority, protect, and teach, also like toward in regard, if not of this family house, inside this tent floor plan, any without, those not divided from this sun, on this horizon, father, day, line, all encompassing and gathering to this goal, authority, to this staff controlled, toward and in protection, bound by this lead and taught by this established hand of staff that got a thorn, and grabbing a hold, this and all of this as a shield, this support prevents any, if not turning to breath, revealed life, also like mockery, scorn, derision, if those not of this staff, goal, not of authority, protection, bind, leadership and teaching, control toward this, therefore also with an eye to see, experience cover, heeding this carrying camel, also like mock, stammering, and those if not of this staff, goal, control toward authority, protection, bind, and binding lead, and teaching, as men on his side, in need, desire, waiting on trail for, and of this arm, hand that got thrust for handiwork, deed, to physically observe blood from this massive, mighty, lifted up sea, lifted up, and so to lift up from chaos, those people, blemish, also like ambassador, interpreter, intercede, intercessor, if not of this palm of hand, subdued, and allowed, also like thus, any, if not of this breath of life, this family house, inside this tent floor, plan with eyes to see, heeding authority, control toward protection, binding, leadership and teaching, also like Baal, owner, husband, any, if not of this mark, covenant, signed, and identifying of people, place, thing of this chief, and ox, anointed nail, hook to secure, fix, join things to life, this breath, also like utmost bound, limit, then to err, wander, go astray, desire. Any, all man of existence, if in chaos, blemish. That water, not this massive, mighty, lifted up sea, lifted up blood, and life, breath of life, also like they. Any of those, if not looking, beholding this life, revealed breath of life, and breath of life revealed in man. Also as this staff for this goal, control toward authority, protection, binding, leading and teaching, as to this, palm of hand, and palm of hand bent to subdue, tame, allow. Also like to go, walk, come, proceed, move.